friends, and welcome to Edupedia World Videos. This is the chapter 10 part A of the course Basics of Programming in C language, and in this chapter we are going to understand something about the conditional statements. Now, what is conditional statement? We will learn. The first step towards learning what is conditional statement is learning about decision making. So what is decision making? Decision making is the most important aspect of programming. Okay, so the power of taking decisions is what gives intelligence to our programs. Obviously, computer by itself is incapable of taking decisions. Okay, so it will only work on the instructions given by the human being. So if I do not right click my mouse, it will never be able to display this menu over the screen. Okay, so this is known as input and output. Okay, and in case I input something wrong, it will output something wrong. That is known as garbage in and garbage out, or GIGO concept. So similarly, to be able to make decisions, okay, to be able to take decisions, the computer has to be programmed. Okay, so the power of taking decisions is what gives intelligence to our programs, and computers cannot take decisions on their own but have to be programmed to do so. We always take decisions in our programs based on certain conditions. Okay, now the keyword here is conditions. So conditions can be this way, like number mod 2 is equal to 0, which means that number divided by 2, the remainder should be 0. Okay, so if a number is divisible by 2, then it is even. So this is the condition is that if a number is divisible by 2, and it tests that the number is even or not. So if you have to take a decision whether a number is even or odd, you have to check a condition that number should be divisible by 2. To check this condition in C language, you have to use the operator modulus, which will give you the remainder after dividing the two numbers. So it will divide the value of number by 2. Okay, and whatever the remainder will be, it will be returned. So now here you are comparing that remainder with 0. So in case that remainder is equal to 0, then your number will be even. Okay, in case that remainder is 1, then your number will be odd. Okay, so this is one example of a condition. So another example is that a person's age is more than 18 or not. So you have to check this. Suppose you have to check the person's eligibility for a driving license. So you have to, the condition that you have to check is that age should be greater than or equal to 18. So how will you check that? This will check only that the age is greater than 18 or not. Okay, so age greater than 18. If this is true, then the person is eligible for the driving license, otherwise he is not. Okay, now something more about the conditions. A condition is an expression that compares two quantities. So we have already seen that a condition is an expression that compares two quantities. Okay, now the condition can either be true or it can be false. Okay, so the comparison can either result in the statement being true or it can result in the statement being false. The condition always uses relational operators. So suppose A greater than equal to B. Okay, this is a condition. This can either be true or be false. It will be true if the value of A is greater than or equal to value of B. So this is the relational operator, greater than equal to, and these are the two variables that are being compared. So it is true if A is greater than or equal to B, and it is false if not. Similarly, B equal to A. This is true only if B is equal to A. So combining conditions. You can also combine multiple conditions inside your C code. To combine these conditions, you need to use logical operators, and you need to know a bit of the Boolean algebra. So you can combine conditions using the AND gate, OR gate, and other gates like XOR gate or XNOR gate and all. Okay, to combine conditions using AND gate, this means that both of these conditions should be true. Okay, only then your final output will be true. So A greater than B and B greater than C. Okay, this is logical AND over here using the double ampersand. It is denoted in C language. So this means that both the conditions should be true. That means A should also be greater than B, and B should also be greater than C. Only then the overall expression will return true. Okay, even if one of these conditions is false, suppose value of A is greater than B, but B is not greater than C, then the whole expression will return a false. But if both are true, then it will be returning true. Okay, so similarly, you have OR operator to combine two conditions. In this case, either of these statements can be true, either of these conditions can be true, then your overall condition will be true. Suppose A is equal to B and A is greater than 30. Okay, suppose both of these conditions, out of both of these conditions, one is true and the other one is false. So then also this will return true, but at least one should be true. Okay, another example is again using an AND statement and logical operator, and this will return true if A is an even number greater than 0. So A mod 2 equal to 0 will compare that A is a even number or not. If A mod 2 is 0, that means A is even. If A mod 2 is not equal to 0, means A is odd, and A should also be greater than 0. So this will return true only if A is even and A is greater than 0. So A is even and positive. Okay, so now we have the examples of conditional statements in C. One conditional statement is the question mark and colon operator. Okay, this is just an operator that can be used to evaluate various conditions. We will learn how. Then there is if else if statement, if else else if statement, and switch case statement. So most of these statements, the syntax of these statements remains same in other languages also. Like Java will also have similar kind of statements, and other languages will also have similar kind of statements. So you just need to study them carefully while studying one language, and in the other languages these will be more or less the same. The question mark colon operator is a conditional operator. This allows the user to allocate value to a variable based on the particular condition. Okay, so the value is allocated to the variable on the left hand side based on a particular condition. Now the condition is specified before the question mark. Okay, now if this condition is true, the value right after the question mark will be allocated to the variable. If the condition is true, this value will be allocated to the variable. Okay, in case the condition is false, the value specified after the colon will be allocated to the variable. So in case the condition is false, this value will be allocated to the variable. Okay, now an example is that ABS value, which is a variable, is equal to number greater than equal to 0. If number is greater than equal to 0, then absolute value is number as it is. If number is not greater than and equal to 0, then absolute value would be given by -1 multiplied by the number. So we can also check it out. Suppose our number is 5. Okay, suppose our number is 5. So absolute value of 5 is what? 5. So if we check over here, the number is greater than equal to 0, the condition is true. So absolute value would be equal to number in that case. In case the condition is true, it will be equal to the number itself, which is 5. So it will be the value of absolute value would be 5, which is right. Okay, absolute value of 5 is 5. In case the number is -5, now what will happen? This will compare this condition, and this condition will turn out to be false because 5 is not greater than equal to 0. This will turn out to be false, and number will not be allocated, but rather this statement would be executed, which is -1 into number. So -1 into -5, which would be equal to 5. Okay, so this value will be allocated to absolute value. So again absolute value will be equal to 5. So this is a logic which is working fine. Okay, so that was about the colon question mark operator, and we will learn about this. We will do some practicals about this also later on. Till that time we will move to if else else if. So if else is a conditional statement. Okay, this is also a conditional statement inside C language. This allows user to execute one set of instructions in case of the condition evaluated is true, and the other set will be executed in case the condition that is under evaluation is false. So unlike the colon question mark operator, which just allocates specific values based on the condition is true or not, this if else else if statement will help you to execute certain statements itself. So else if can be used to test for multiple conditions. We will see how the syntax of this statement is, and this will make it more clear to us. So the syntax is this way. First is if, then condition 1. Okay, so if this condition is true, then whatever is inside the if block will be executed. So these lines will be executed if the condition 1 is true. In case else if, condition 2. In case condition 1 is false, so your control will go to else if. In case condition 1 is true, your control will never go to else if. This will go to else if only if condition 1 is false. So in case we assume that condition 1 is false, it will come to else if condition 2. Now another condition will be tested over here. In case this condition is true, then these lines will be executed. If this condition is again false, then it will go to another else if. So only if the preceding conditions are false, the code will go to else if, the next else if. Otherwise it will not go to the next else if. And if all of these conditions over here are false, the else part will be executed. If you do not have an else part in your if statement, then nothing will be done. If you have an else part, then else part will be executed. For an example, just see over here. Suppose you have to find out whether an employee falls in the low income group or mid income group or higher income group. You have a condition that if the employee's salary is above 10,000 rupees monthly, that is mid income group. If it is less than 10,000, it is low income group, and if it is more than 25,000, say, then it is the high income group. Now we have this statement which will do this. Here we are comparing salary with 10,000. If salary is less than or equal to 10,000, then we will print that the employee falls in low income group. Similarly, we have another condition, else if. If this condition is not true, then we will go to this condition, else if the salary is greater than 10,000 and the salary is also less than 25,000. In this case, in the case where both these conditions are true, our control should go over here and we should print that the employee falls in mid income group. So mid income group ranges 10,000 to 25,000, and for low income group the range is less than 10,000. Else, if both of these conditions are false, then the control will go to else part, which will print that employee falls in high income group. So if the salary is neither less than 10,000, okay, nor does it fall between 10,000 and 25,000, it will obviously be above 25,000. That means the employee will be in higher income group. That is executed by the else part here. Okay, so this was another small video which taught you about some basic conditional statements in C language, and this video will be continued and we will learn more about the if statement and switch case, which is another conditional statement in C language, in our coming video. So thanks for watching and hope you continue to watch the course Basics of Programming in C language.